I think a lot of us, I won't say all of us, but majority of us, um, as Africans, that's located in diaspora, we are African and we identify with that when it me. And what do I mean by that in particular? Whenever it's white supremacy at your front door, whenever it's any power or domain from any foreigner, we actually want to say that we African, we this, we that. We want to um, bring in all Africans as much as possible to possibly defeat the white supremacy power structure, if you will. But when it seems as if that particular conflict has disappeared before our very eyes, when it has not, it just developed into a whole different form. Because if you truly understand white supremacy, it never really disappeared. It just reincarnates itself. We just go back and do what we do daily, basically, on our cellular devices, getting utilized from social media. Social media is utilizing us. We're not utilizing social media to rehabilitate the state of mind in which the African have. We're not doing that. A lot of us, we think that this shit is still all fun and games. In actual reality, none of this shit is all fun and games. The Europeans actually creating and implementing an agenda before our very eyes as we bear witness and living in this new year 2020. I guarantee you that as we sleep, as we feel as if that we individuals, we have no connection with within our particular community, what that person does, it has nothing to do with me. In actual reality, you're not an individual, as it seems to be that you are isolated, you have no connection with no brother or sister that's in your community, and whatever they do, it has nothing to do. It won't affect you. It won't harm you, and things of that nature. This how the psychology of the African has been so disconnected from its home, has been so disconnected from his culture, has been so disconnected from his brother or his sister, to the certain extent that he feel as if that he has no connection. Dealing with the indoctrination of the European. And most of us, whenever we say that we're not Africans, we go based off we having a nationality in which we believe in. We Hebrews, we Moors, we this, we Nuwapians, we Native Americans, we Black Americans, we this, we that, and the third. And all of our problems are the same at the end of the day. All of them are. All of them are. All of them are. Understanding politics thoroughly, understanding white supremacy, getting dehumanized and oppressed by this foreign entity, the white men, the Western men, if you will. We are suffering all over. All over. In fact, even on the continent, it's worse to bear witness to the foreign entities have power and domain over their particular environment. Because you don't even have to worry about just the European. You got the Chinese over there. You got the French over there. The France over there. And you got other foreign entities over there. So while we worrying about, it's just an example, while we worrying about the white man over here, our brothers and sisters in Libya still going through slavery. You get what I'm saying? And they have to worry about more than two foreign entities that's occupying their land. You get what I'm saying? And this is why I tell you, brothers and sisters, and I can't emphasize this enough, we're not just individuals. What that brother does or what that sister does, it will affect us. You get what I'm saying? It will affect us. Those minstrel shows that play on VH1, those minstrel shows that play on BET, those minstrel shows all over television, that affect us. Those black stereotypes, you know what I'm saying? Those negative images of black women acting like a fool on Love and Hip Hop, right? or Real Housewives of Atlanta, or Real Housewives of whatever, all of that affect us because they are images of us. They personify as being a part of our race, which is African. So they are really hurting us, and it's so goddamn detrimental to the certain extent that they actually participate in consciously in their own oppressive states. This is some real shit. It's programming. Everything is programming. And half the time, when we looking at someone has been programmed, brainwashed just thoroughly, like a coon, for example. Or matter of fact, I'm not even going to use a coon. I just use the simple fact that a lot of us in the conscious community, we think that, or we believe that without a shadow of a doubt, that we're conscious. But really, in actual reality, we're really not. We have been programmed to the certain extent that your understanding, your ability to know something, your knowledge is from foreign entities telling your ancestral history. So they're going to talk about how the fact your ancestors was oppressed. Most people think that their history only started with slavery. 1619, Jamestown, Virginia. You get what I'm saying? People really believe or know they go through articles, right? They go through documentaries and things of that nature. Talk about this is where our history started. And what kills me even more about that, when that's not really the truth, it's a simple fact is that anytime when someone want to talk about an ancestor, they talk about our ancestors being oppressed. Being oppressed. Where in the hell did they actually grasp that understanding from? School. They haven't been indoctrinated with that. Just like in college, what they gonna tell you about the Native Americans, which is a group that still enslaved your ancestors too as well. Talk about how they got enslaved. Why all history that have been taught with us about us have to do with us being oppressed? When we fallen victim into the white supremacy power structure. They're not going to tell you that Charles Darwin was taught by a slave, a former slave. That's where he got all of his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from. They're not going to tell you about those Greek philosophers, Plato, Socrates, and others. They gained their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding within Egypt, studying in Egypt. They're not going to tell you about that. They're not going to tell you about that. The end result is now is cognitive dissonance. We find each other outraged to live, and now we can't even be each other at peace. We can't. But what I can say is that, good sister, is that we must identify our condition. Once we identify our condition, then we actually can move forward. And the reason why I say that we need to identify with our condition, because most people are so in denial about our condition and where we at right now. Most people say that we're great. We're not in a state of physical confinement. In other words, we do not have changed in the Western Hemisphere as our ancestors had, right? We really not going through the same thing as our ancestors. So we are really living a good life. We can actually go wherever we want to. We can hold hands with white women. We can do every single thing. So this is what people, they formulate the concept of freedom, because they say this is freedom which we are living at, and that's further than the truth. This shit is not freedom. Racism never died. It just reincarnated itself. White supremacy, white racism never died. It reincarnated itself. We must identify with this in order for us to go forward, because all of it starts within the mind. Before it can be a physical revolution, it must be a psychological revolution. You get what I'm saying?